Maybe not toilet paper. Like maybe we're not planning on making toilet paper.
We could try. No, I don't want to make toilet.
We have plenty
I don't
of
want to
woods.
make toilet paper. There is plenty of wood.
Yeah.
We'll go lamb's ear.
Uncomfortable toilet
That's
paper.
nice and soft.
I'm good. Hey, what is up to all of you? We are the De Palmas. My name is Kaylin.
And I'm Ashley.
And we recently made the decision to move out of the city into rural Mississippi. And that's something that's been on our hearts and our minds for several years.
Well, it started out with you because he's always been so interested in growing a garden. We've been married for 12 years, 13 years this month. Oh my gosh. I know. So it started with him wanting to grow a garden, and he's always wanted to have a garden. And we had gardens in like our little apartments or whatever when we first got married, and we started a garden in our last house, and we had a very small backyard, but he wanted to start a garden. I did not want to start a garden at all.
Yeah, actually, so I had this vision for raised beds. I grew up in the greater Los Angeles area, and people really don't have property to speak of there. I mean, I lived a lot in apartments. I lived in a house when I was a little guy, man, but there was really no space to grow anything. And I've been enamored. I'm sorry, I'm so sweaty. It's gross out.
It's hot in the South.
If you live in the South, you know.
It is hot in the South.
It's disgusting. Ew. 13 years of marriage. So anyway, my thing is like I'm enamored by growing things, and I'm enamored by the idea of eating your own food. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. Like when I was a young man, one of my first jobs I worked at Subway, and I remember slicing the tomatoes, and you slice, and the tomato's red on the outside, but it has these white spokes, and so you get inside to the flesh, and it's white in there.
So it's a tomato grown in Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, it's tomato grown somewhere. I don't know where they're importing them from, but the point is to say, I thought that's the way that tomatoes looked. Fast forward a few years, and I'm in Utah. I'm in Bible college, and it's a summer job, and I'm working for this fruit farm, and they have a tomato plot, a huge tomato plot, and we're out there, and the guy I'm working with says, hey man, if you want to eat one of the tomatoes, you can. And I mean, I'm starving, it's hot. I mean, it's if you've done farm work, it's like insane. And so I just took this tomato and took a huge bite out of it. Well, it was so red, it was almost purple, and I was taken aback and shocked and thought, what's wrong with this tomato? And the guy looked at me like I'd grown like another head, and I said, no, seriously, like tomatoes are like not this color. He's like, well, what color are they supposed to be? And I said, they're supposed to be white inside. And he laughed so hard, and he's like, a nutrient deficient tomato might be. And that was like my moment where I realized like everything I've known about food even is a lie, man. And so I've just been enamored since then with this idea of like growing fresh food, because working on that farm was like incredible. You pass by peach trees, grab like this huge peach, and there's just peach dripping down your face. And
if you have never been to Utah in September, you have never tasted a peach. I don't care where you're from. Georgia lays claim to some peach fame or another, but no. If you've never been to Utah in September, you have never tasted a peach. It's like sunshine, and it's as big as your head, and the juice just drips down your elbows. It is
yes, it does.
The best food in the world.
It's incredible, and it really, for me, kind of opened my eyes to this idea of farming. And so, like, again, fast forward many years, and it's like I'm like trying to convince my wife, hey, we should do a backyard garden, and she's like, I don't really think so.
I grew up in more of a rural area, not a super big city, certainly not Los Angeles, and I just thought, just go to the store and buy it. It's way easier.
Yeah, but I don't want to go to the store and buy it, and so we planted this garden. Well, it quickly grew as we're just learning about the process of gardening, and I connected with some concepts out of permaculture, and then sort of this American return to homesteading. And if you don't know, there's this huge move to just kind of return to the land, and it's big. And then I'm a Christian, and so like my thing is we were created to care for the land. Like this is like one of our original mandates was this relationship with the land and with creatures
and a garden.
Yeah, and at least in my world, we had just gotten so far away from that, and this was a return to something.
Yeah, it turns out the corner store or the grocery store or wherever is just, that's not a garden. It's not the land. It's not actually stewarding anything.
Yeah. Hashtag corner stores are not gardens. I mean, that's true. But what we ended up doing is, you know, we had this, like she said, kind of a smaller backyard space, typical backyard space. So small, it was nice backyard, but we converted a section of it into a garden, and then suddenly we have food growing, and then we're looking.
It was so strange because, okay, so he wanted to grow a garden. He wanted it, so it was like a Father's Day present or a birthday present. I don't remember what, but we built raised beds, and we built 3 of them. They were not huge, but they weren't super small, and I thought, gosh, this is gonna be so much work and so much effort. For what? I was like, this is not gonna work. We're gonna put seeds in the ground one time, nothing's gonna come of it, and then we'll just have these big boxes in our yard for nothing. They'll be empty. And then we put seeds in the ground. And I absolutely became enamored with the process of growing food. I've never done it before that. And once we started doing that, once we started getting little seedlings popping up out of the dirt, once we like actually saw food growing, even though for our first garden it really wasn't that successful, but it absolutely caught my heart, it caught my soul. Like, I want to do it. I want to do it all the time. I want to do it on a large scale. I want to grow all of our food. I want to have orchards. I want to have grapevines. I want to have massive gardens.
Yeah, so we quickly began that process. So, you know, we looked at this backyard and thought, I can grow there, I can grow there, I can grow there.
we
looked at the side yards, we're like,
really
berry patch. We began by putting some fig trees in the ground.
That's
we
right.
had, you know, satsumas in pots. We started getting food abundance. We found out you can do backyard quail.
Right, we wanted to do chickens. I think we've talked about that, or we will talk about that in another video, but we wanted to do chickens really badly, but we lived inside city limits and they're just not allowed. We know some people that have secret chickens, but we have...
Everybody has secret chickens where we come from.
They're loud, and we had very close neighbors, and we didn't want to be a bother to anyone, so we looked into what we could do, and we settled on quail, which are so quiet. You would never know. We're literally sitting next to our quail coop just down that way.
Yep.
You won't hear them. They're so sweet, and they're delicious, and
they
their
produce
eggs
amazing
are
eggs.
amazing.
Yeah.
And that was like our first little step our toe into it, and then from there, just like that first seed, that first egg that we got, because we hatched our own quail out, that very first little chick that was running around in the brooder, as I was trying to Google like how to take care of quail, it planted something in me that has grown. And so at this point, I want all of it.
Yeah.
I want goats, I want cows,
all the
I
livestock.
want chickens, I want it all. I want to do it all.
Yeah, and it's great. You know, so we moved out of the city and we moved on to about 11 acres, and it's a lot of land, and we have a lot to learn. I mean, so really, like, we would say we had leveled up in a few different ways, gardening and with, you know, this minimal livestock engagement.
Right.
But this is about to become a big journey for us.
Very
it's a
real.
process for us.
Very fast.
And so we are going to capture that journey on film with our family, with our extended family. We actually are doing this in tandem with my in-laws, her parents.
My parents, yeah, my mom, my dad, they bought the property with us. They're going to be staying in the house behind us with us for a year, and then during that year, during what we are going to be showing you guys growing at our farm, we're also going to be building them out a house. There's a couple of buildings on the property, and so one of them we're going to actually convert into a house. It's an old barn, and so we'll take you along for that ride as well. That's going to definitely be a ride.
Yeah.
So that'll be really good.
Yeah, and our big thought was, like, it bears explaining, especially to our friends and family, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And not that anybody thinks that we're crazy. I mean, those who know us really well and who are close to us have already kind of heard what we're doing and why we're doing it.
We don't be quiet.
But, you know, I think in this, you know, in this situation we find ourselves in globally, a lot of people are thinking in the same way we are. We've been thinking about it for a few years, so this is kind of the culmination of a series of conversations and dreams and plans.
Right. In fact, we had planned on doing this. We had planned on getting property. We planned on getting space and land, but we planned on doing it 3 years from now.
Yeah.
We did not plan on doing it today. So it was only because of everything that's been happening with the virus that has been going around, and how scared everybody got, and the push for food, and this surge toward a more agrarian, it feels like a surge toward more agrarian lifestyle, so that you shorten your food chain so you don't have to wonder, is the store going to have what I need? I can have what I need. I can make what I need. And then
although maybe not toilet paper. Like maybe we're not planning on making toilet paper.
we could try. No, I don't want to make toilet. I don't want to make
woods.
toilet paper. There is plenty of wood.
Yeah.
We'll go lamb's ear.
Uncomfortable toilet
That's
paper.
nice and soft.
I'm good.
So we and then with the COVID issues and stuff like that, the housing market obviously switched up a lot, and it really became a buyer's market. So we had the opportunity to fast track our plans.
Yeah.
And instead of doing this in 3 years, we were able to do it today.
Yeah.
And so we decided to do that, and it's a huge leap forward.
Yeah.
And
big change.
Yeah,
Big
it's
change
gonna
for
be-
us. You know, I'm a city slicker, and my wife, though she comes from a more rural area, like she's not from the country. She's from, you know, a more rural world, but not from. I guess I thought it was the country, but then I lived there long enough, and it wasn't the country.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. So the long and short is, we're going to be inviting you on this adventure with us. Like, sorry, I'm getting used to. Where do I?
I know.
I don't know which eye. I don't know which eye to
me.
look. Just pick one, babe. Just pick one. Yeah. I'm still getting used to this. But the point is, we're inviting you with us on the journey of homesteading. And my hope is that it will do two things. Number one is that it will allow our friends, our families, people we don't know yet, people in our community that we live in, wherever, just whoever, to connect with this journey and say, this is something really inspiring. This is something super encouraging. This is the kind of thing that at the end of the night, I want to kick back with a cup of coffee or a bottle of water or a cup of tea. We do tea all the time when we watch Homesteaders.
Tea.
And watch this and be inspired. We hope that some of you out there who've been thinking about, like, I kind of want to live that more I feel pulled to that more agrarian lifestyle, that this will be like a channel where you say, hey, like they did it, you know, and they don't know what the heck they're doing, but they're learning, and like if they can be in process, I can be in process, and you know, that it'll inspire you to reconsider even your relationship with the land. I know that sounds really you know, at the risk of being offensive here, it sounds a little crunchy and granola, and for a guy who's admittedly from Southern California, like, aha, aha. But really, it's not even about that. You know, land conservation, you know, livestock husbandry, you know, raising crops and feeding your family from that. Not only does it have a storied tradition really in American history and really in world history, but again, it comes out of this like mandate that human beings were created with a call to care for the earth. That's part of the deal. And so, you know, you don't want to go overboard with that, and you could easily begin to just decide, well, human life is nowhere near as important. But the other side of that is to say, I can't ignore that mandate either, right? And so, like, I want to put my hands in the ground that God made, and I want to see it produce in the way that God created us for relationship with the world that we live in. Mm-hmm. And so come with us in this journey, and learn with us, and laugh with us, and weep with us. Hopefully less weeping.
Less weeping.
Less weeping.
Less weeping.
Yeah, maybe just laugh with us, journey with us, and if anything that we are able to, you know, show you is helpful or inspiring, we'll feel like we did something cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.